Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge and welcome to part 4 and probably I'm thinking the last reading vlog in my rereading my favorites of 2021. It is Saturday morning, the week before Christmas, and I'm getting ready to do my day's filming. I have my breakfast here. I haven't made one of these in a long time. I made a breakfast sandwich. And it's like 9 in the morning. And I have a lot to do today. Like, trying not to let it overwhelm me. So I'll be going home to my family on Thursday for our Christmas activities. And I know that once the week starts, it will go really quickly. So I want to make sure I have stuff pre-filmed and stuff ready to go. I also got I dyed my hair last night, but I didn't like do a blowout afterwards, so we have this poof going on today, which is fine. But anyway, check out the wall there. I've reread most of the books now. I think I have 9 left. Yes, I have 9 left because I already started my reread of Savage Tracker last night while I was just doing some stuff around the house, which wasn't very much because I also have that pile of stuff behind me, which is my Christmas presents. It goes very far that way that need to get wrapped today. So that needs to happen. I might do a live show to do that. I don't know. That's what I did last year is we just like hung out and wrapped presents and it was fun. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. I also have another vlog going on at the same time. That's kind of a secret one that I really need to kick my butt in gear for that. So I have like 2 things going on at once that need to get done by the end of the year. So anyway, Savage Tracker, this is book 5 in the Mafia Wars by Maggie, and it's definitely my favorite in the series. This is about Obrecht and Selena, and Selena was in an abusive relationship with a guy who we've been seeing behind the scenes in all of the Ivanov books. That's what's kind of cool about this series, and also what can be overwhelming is that there's a lot of overlap. So things can get a bit overwhelming. I have to take a bite of this sandwich, sorry. So good. Otherwise, I'll talk the whole time and then it'll be cold when I'm done, so I'm just trying to enjoy it as we go. But in book 3, she gets divorced from him finally. Our characters, Cora and Sergei, actually help her do that because Cora is a lawyer. And Obrecht actually lives in the same apartment building as her. And so his brother asked him to keep an eye out on her. And he is more than happy to do that. And they both are getting these BDSM vibes from each other. Okay, and I'll explain. Obrecht is a dominant, but he calls himself a top because he doesn't do committed relationships. So he has memberships to BDSM clubs where he will do scenes with people. But he doesn't do long-term relationships since he got out of one a while ago. So he is, I think he's 45 and Selena is 30, so this is another age gap. He sees her as being too young for him a lot of times, but I'm kind of like, dude, she's 30. But she is very innocent in an interesting way because even though she has been used as, because that's the thing, I was getting off track. She was in a non-consensual slave-master dynamic with her husband. That's part of the reason why she needed to get away from this abusive relationship because he basically was holding her captive for all this time. It was very hard for her to get away. But she still has those tendencies where she wants to be submissive, and she feels so dirty and wrong about that. Like, why does she still want submission after she had been abused by her husband? And Obrecht is really kind of helping her to realize that, like, there's a way where you can actually be in control when you're being submissive. And that's like, if you're in a healthy BDSM relationship, it isn't one person who's really in control of the other. You both have agreed to this. And though the dominant is in control of you, you are giving the control. And that's the part that is healthy about it. So it's really beautiful. Obviously, Obrecht can't stay away from her, even though he's like, I can't do a committed relationship with someone. Me thinks you can, my friend. Me thinks you can. So that will be the starting clip for this. I don't even know if I'll get through this book today because I'm kind of giving myself, like I said, a break from the rereads this weekend. I wasn't even going to start this one yet because like I said, I have a secret project I'm working on, and I also have an arc that I wanted to read, but I actually just really wanted to read that book. So I was like, well, I'll just start the audiobook for it. The audiobook is read by two of my favorite narrators. They are actually a married couple, and their names are Kai Kennicott and Wen Ross. They do a lot of my favorite audiobooks. So yeah, I just was like, oh, I'll just start this one. And then my goal is this weekend sometime, though, probably on Sunday, I do want to start A Court of Silver Flames because I know that this one's going to take me a while. So I want to get that audiobook started, which is actually on AnyPlay, which is pretty cool. And then the rest of these books don't have audiobooks. The only other one that does, well, there's also Midnight Pleasures with a Scoundrel has an audiobook. But only Filthy Rich has an audiobook. So I really need to have time to physically read some of these. So I'll probably bring them on vacation with me. But anyway, there's my clip for now, and I'll check in later. We'll see how I'm doing with reading everything. All right, so I am looking a little bit bedraggled, but I'm actually just got out of the shower. I went to the gym after work today, and I'm exhausted in a good way. Like, I'm tired in a good way, but I haven't slept great the last couple nights, and it's literally because the wind has been insane, and it just sounds like a bunch of howling wolves. Like, it's so loud, and it's just been, like, kind of distracting, so I'll, like, be ready to sleep. I'm all, like, snuggled up, and then I just listen to it howl, and I can't seem to fall asleep. So that's been interesting. But yeah, time to update my favorites. And I think I am rounding up on being done, because one of the things I'm thinking about too is that there are for sure a couple that I want to reread still, but I'm feeling pretty secure about where the top 10, like what my top 10 books are. And this happened last year too. It was like, I had a lot of books on my favorites list, and some of them I just know that they're not going to be in the top 10. So I'm running out of time to reread some of these. And I'm also getting a little burned out. Like, there is a lot of new books coming soon, and I really want to start reading new things. So I'm going to be wrapping up with a few. But there are a couple that I think can potentially be in the top 10 or be close, so I want to know. So I will finish those. So first, to wrap up, I finished Savage Tracker last night. This was amazing, of course. I know I'm saying that about all of these, but this is book 5 in the Mafia Wars. This one is this one is Obrecht and Selena, and this one is BDSM as healing, and I love this couple so much. A few of the things that were starting to, like, not be as great this time around is that this book is very impactful. Like, the first time I read it, obviously it hit me. But Selena is very insecure and has no self-worth, as she would, because of the way she literally has been someone's slave for the last 10 years and told that she's their wife, but really she's their slave. She had no consent. She was abused, mistreated, punished. None of this she consented to. So Obrecht has to do a lot of reassurance for her, and it's a lot to take on, especially when someone who thinks that he's not looking for commitment. So I love watching them come together, and like, I love watching her get courage and get a backbone, but some of it is like, it takes a long time. And like, anything he says, when it doesn't even have a double meaning, like anything he does, she assumes he's upset. And again, that is the mental state that she has been in, because she had to be so attuned to her husband, because if she wasn't doing everything exactly perfectly, he was going to punish her. So that is completely consistent with her character, but it does get, like, this is the third time I've read this book, and it was a little bit like tough to sit through a third time around, if that makes sense. So yeah, I still liked this one. I ended up rating this one like a 37, which is pretty middle of the pack. I have, I think, like 6 books that I've rated a 37 so far, but I love this couple. They're wonderful. They're still one of my favorites of the Mafia Wars. Like, there's no contest there. So then the 2 books that I'm in the middle of right now, but I wanted to film a clip because it's been a couple days, is let me see where I'm at. I'm reading 2 right now. Let me find it. Okay. I am like 60% of the way through A Court of Silver Flames. I could actually finish this tonight. I don't know if I will, though. I've really been enjoying listening to this one at work. So if I don't finish this one tonight, I will finish it tomorrow for sure. But yeah, this is book 5 kind of in the, or 4, whichever way you're counting it, if we count Frost and Starlight or not, in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. And I love this. This book for me is the perfect mix of Sarah J. Maas. Like, it is everything I love about her. Like, I love Nesta so much. And this time around, knowing what her journey will be, knowing how she's going to go from where she is to where she ends up, I'm enjoying it even more. I love seeing which things soften her a little bit, which things reveal parts of her, and which things, you know, help her to grieve and move forward. In my opinion, this book is so full of grief and pain and like self-loathing. Some of things which were choices she made that she needs to own, and some of things that she was forced to be through the circumstances she's lived through. And I love it. And I love Cassian. And I love as he gets to know her more, he unwraps her more and more as well. And I just love it. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm having a great time. And I'm really glad that this is one that I reread, because I was afraid because it's so big. But of course, like with an audiobook, I'm getting through this really quickly. And I'm so intrigued to see where she goes next. You know, like I have no idea which one Sarah's writing next. I kind of like don't want to know, because I don't want to be anticipating it for like 3 years like I was for this one, you know. Like, this book took a long time to get here. And I'm glad it took as long as it did, because one of the things too is that the difference between the first book in this series and this book, and how much Sarah has grown and just all those things, like, I freaking love that shit. So yeah, I love it. And then the other one that I am in the middle of is Run, Posy, Run. I started this on my Kindle because I actually own the Kindle one today. Let's see. Where am I at? I think I'm at a really sexy part. I'm almost done with this one too. I think this is where I'm at. So I'm going to finish this one right after I eat for sure. And yeah, this one's not going to be in my top 10, but I still really like this. I will have to see how I rate this one. This book is so fascinating. It's just, I like the kind of sociopath, psychopath that Dario is. And I love how he doesn't like let Posy get off easy. He is a jackass, but also there's just so many things that he has never even tried to figure out. And not just about her, but about people. Like, he doesn't notice people, but he notices her, and he's obsessed with her. And he doesn't realize that she wants more from him, but also she's never said that she wanted more from him. So it's this very interesting mix of like, you see it from her perspective and you're like, wow, he's treated me like shit. But she's also coming to the realization that, but I never told him I wanted more. I was happy just being his trophy girlfriend. Like, I was happy with it. I was happy because when he would give me attention, he would give me all of his attention. He would focus in on me. And that is what she wanted. She wanted attention. She wanted to be his possession because it felt like she was safe and secure. And from the past that she lived, from the home life that she had, being his possession would equal happiness for her. And she is from the mob life, you know, so she's seen, if you find, you know, the toughest guy out there and make yourself his woman, like, things could be good for you. But also then when we see Dario's point of view, we realize that he thought he was giving her everything she needed. He didn't know she needed more. He doesn't pick up those cues and he doesn't know. So she wasn't telling him, and he doesn't have natural intuition or even know. So he thought everything was fine. And it wasn't until, you know, I mean, he really fucks up in the beginning, which makes her, like, the reason why she runs away in the beginning is this, you know, misunderstanding where he believes that she cheated on him without even digging into it at all. And it's a very interesting situation because she's like, you're so diligent about everything, and someone told you I cheated and you wouldn't even let me listen. Like, you didn't even try to hear my point of view, you know? And so she's realizing that, like, people aren't just going to give me respect. Like, I have to demand that I get it. And I love that realization for her. I do. I think it's a really smart thing to dive into. And that's why I love this book so dearly. It doesn't quite have, like, the emotional punch that I am looking for in my favorites of the year, but it definitely has the spiciness, and it has the can't put downness, you know? Like, the first time I read this, I read it all in one sitting. I was gonna read this all in one sitting if I, you know, wasn't working, you know? It just sucks you right in, and it has the, like, I will burn the world for you aspect that I just love so much. And I really need to read more of Cate Wells. Her other main series, she does have a couple other ones, I guess, but her other main series is Bikers. I just don't love Bikers. I just don't love Bikers. But I might try some of these because there's some where she will kind of tell you what they're about. So I might try them. I don't know. But anyway, okay, that's an update for where we're at for the night. And I'm waiting for my food to get here because I'm starving. And then I will dive into these. So we'll talk soon. Here is another awkward bed clip because it was fun last time. And also I forgot to film out there. But I film, like, all my clips in front of the bookshelf. So I was like, we'll just film it in bed. It is the 22nd. And tomorrow I should be headed home for the holidays. Hopefully. I don't feel like ready. One of my gifts hasn't shown up, which is kind of a bummer because it's for my mom. And of course, like, it's the one that I ordered the earliest. Like, seriously. I ordered it before pretty much everything else. So it's not like I waited to the last minute. Like, I ordered my mom's gift a while ago. And it's not even, like, a handmade thing. And it's not a, like, Etsy gift. Because I ordered some of those 3 weeks ago. And I got them. And we're good. And they're wrapped. I know how the game is played. And I did not get it in time. So tomorrow's my last chance for it to show up before I leave. Because, for work tomorrow, we work until 1, and then we're having a end of the year bowling party, but it's not like our Christmas party. Like, our Christmas party is in January, and I've been planning it for like 2 months, so it's not that. It's just like we're gonna, like, eat and drink and bowl, which I don't really have a desire to do. Like, I don't hate bowling or anything. I'm just not good at it, and it's not a game that I've ever, like, tried to get good at. So I'm not really that, like, excited to do that when I could be, like, headed home to my family earlier. But whatever. No need to whine about it. But anyway, the point is that if the weather is okay, I will leave after the party, because I'm not planning to, like, drink there at all. But we're supposed to do that until 4, and, like, it gets dark here at 4:30. But, like, the interstates are pretty clear. Like, they're cleaned up of snow and ice. So, again, as long as it doesn't start snowing and it's not too windy, I don't mind driving in the dark. I just don't like doing that if the roads are really bad. But it's only about a 2 hour and, like, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes driving at normal speed to get home. And even if I had to slow down and it took like 3 hours, it's not a big deal. I would get to my family by like 7. But if it ends up being gross or, like, not great, I'll just stay at home, or, like, I'll just spend the night, one more night, and then drive up Christmas Eve morning. And that's not a big deal, because we're not doing any of our, like, holiday stuff until that day anyway. So, yeah. So, with reading wise, I finished reading A Court of Silver Flames, which was so great. It ended up making it very high on the list, which, I don't know if I said this, but I'm not planning to show the list anymore, just because this is going to be the last one, and I don't want to spoil my top 10, because honestly, it's changed pretty significantly with a few of the last books that I've read. And then one book I did decide to, like, move off of the top 10, even though it rated in my top 10. I just, at the end of the day, I've said, like, it's still subjective, and when I look at the top 10, I don't need that many books by that author to be in the top 10. Like, I think we get it. I think we know how I feel about that author. So I'm still gonna, like, talk about it in my top 10, because what I'm gonna do is, like, that video, I don't know if you saw my video from last year where I did a top 10, but, like, I read a favorite quote. Oh, I'm yawning again. And, you know, and then I just talk about why it's there. But I will have, like, an honorable mention. And also, basically the whole list, you know, the one that's linked in the description of my favorite books of the year, is the recommendation. Like, yes, I'm ranking these so that I can have a favorite book of the year, but all of these books were 6 stars. These 32 books out of the 700 that I read, they're my favorite books of the year, you know? I think it's pretty clear to show these are the top, like, 5% of what I've read. So it's really just, I'm using this rating scale to just help me be able to talk about why it's my favorite, not to, you know, diminish any of them that don't make it on this list. So, yeah, this has been amazing. So anyway, Court of Silver Flames was so great. I love Nesta. I love it. I love her so much. Sorry, it's gonna keep happening. I love how her character arc happens. I love how steamy this book is. I love her romance with Cassian. And though the plot of this one is still a little bit confusing to me, like, all these crazy powerful weapons we've just, like, dropped into the middle of the story and everything. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a story of these sisters. So that's why I really think the next one has got to be Elaine, because we have to give her some personality. We got to give her some character. And I'm very interested to see how it would turn out. You know? What it would look like. So we'll see how it goes. But then I started my reread of Lessons in Sin, which I think I've said that may be the last one that I'm doing the reread for. because I only have 4 other ones left, 5, and none of them will make it into the top 10. So Lessons in Sin was kind of the last one that I wanted to try. So that's my plan, is to get that finished over a break. And then when I get back, which I'm taking Monday off as well, so I'll actually only have a 3-day week that I have to do next week. So yeah, that'll be great. And then I will know what my top 10 are, and I'll be able to do that video. I'm so excited to do that video. So, alright, that is my clip on this, and I'm going to read a little bit of Tiffany Roberts and then go to bed. So, yep. Hey, so it is Monday the 27th, and it's time to wrap up this vlog. I know there wasn't as much going on in this one. I was away at Christmas vacation and it was so much fun, but I'm ready to film my favorites video. Actually, you know, I'm all dolled up. The eyes are good, the hair, we tried our best. And I'm just gonna have some breakfast and then I'm gonna film my favorites video. So I won't be showing what the final scores are, because you'll have to watch that video to see. But thank you so much for coming along on all of these vlogs so far. I'll tell you the one I finished last night, the one I decided was my last reread. There was 4 that I didn't end up rereading, or 5, I'll point to them. Eyes of Silver, Eyes of Gold, When Villains Rise, Filthy Rich and Filthy Sex, and Midnight Pleasures with a Scoundrel. So those are still 6-star reads for me. I loved them. But I just know that they're not making it into the top 10. I know how I feel about them. There isn't a real potential for them to muscle their way in there at this point. My top 10 is pretty strong, but I still wanted to, you know, just remind that those ones were there. But I did finish Lessons in Sin last night. This was the forbidden romance. It's kind of a student teacher. It's more forbidden because it's a priest and an 18-year-old woman, and her family is making her go to this all-women's boarding school or Catholic school to make sure that she stays like a virgin and stays out of trouble until the arranged marriage that they're going to be forcing her into. This is a part of the Midnight Dynasty world, which is kind of cool. It's done by who does that? I lost my marker. I don't know where it's at, but yeah, that one, whatever it's called, you know what I mean. And it's a Pam Godwin. So I had a wonderful time reading this book. I love Magnus. He is sexy and dominant, and Tinsley is so smart and fun, and I love watching her, like the different phases that she goes through. It's just very interesting to me. So anyway, had a great time. This one didn't quite make it into the top 10 either, but I was still glad that I reread this book, and I wish there was an audiobook for this one. I know it will happen eventually, but like, that's part of the reason that I didn't get to these last few, is that Filthy Rich is the only one that has an audiobook, and I had re-listened to that one not too long ago, but none of the others have audiobooks, so I just wasn't going to get to them before the end of wanting to do this. But anyway, this was so much fun. Make sure you let me know if you want me to do these as reading vlogs next year too. I know reading vlogs is something that viewers voted that they'd like to see more of, and they're just kind of difficult for me because I don't really do anything for reading vlogs. You know, other people like go places and they have fun B-roll, and all I am is like, you know, at bed at midnight filming a clip like the previous clip you saw. But yeah, if you guys want to see them, I will do them. So there we go. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to have my breakfast here, and then I'm going to film this. I'm so excited to film it. It's my favorite video to do every year. And thank you for coming along on this journey with me. If you watched all 4 vlogs, give yourself a gold star in the comments so I know who made it through all of them. And yeah, tell me which book you think is my favorite. I think I've probably said it or hinted at it or even shown it in some of the pictures, but it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Have a great day, everyone.